Hello and welcome back to another GCSE revision video. Now, if you've been following First Rate Tutors for long enough, you will know that we've helped hundreds of GCSE students get 6s, 7s, 8s and 9s in the final GCSE Literature Paper 1 and Paper 2 exams through our one-off GCSE Literature weeks, where over half-term breaks, I run intensive one-off lessons on topics like Macbeth, Christmas Carol, Inspector Calls and so on, and how students can get 7s, 8s and 9s and literally go up by 3 GCSE grades in a week in the Literature Paper 1 and Paper 2 exams. But of course, also lots of my students have gotten 7s, 8s and 9s in the final Language Paper 1 and Paper 2 exams through my Sunday weekly GCSE Language Paper 1 and Paper 2 classes. We are all on the road to getting 7s, 8s and 9s in the final GCSE exams through answering a different AQA past paper a week. And of course, those of you who are watching YouTube will well be aware that over 100,000 students have found this channel really useful in their GCSE journey to achieving those top grades in English. Now, what I want to go over is literally the one context point for Macbeth that you can use. And if you use this context point and mention these 5 separate points, you can use this point for any Macbeth question, whether it's a character question or a theme question. Not only will you be answering the question, so of course you're scoring AO1 marks, but also you're getting those really valuable AO3 marks because you're cut into the heart of Shakespeare's message. And in addition, I will show you exactly how you can use it for the different characters in the play, okay? So the top context point, okay, when it comes to Macbeth, and to be honest, this is a real cheat code when it comes to answering Macbeth, is divine right of kings, okay? I think that context is absolutely brilliant. When it comes to answering any of the character questions in Macbeth, by the way, this is useful regardless of your syllabus. So this is for those of you guys that are doing AQA, EdExcel, OCR, and so on. But also this context point is really powerful because it cuts to the heart of Shakespeare's message, and you can use it for any Macbeth question that you answer in your GCSE exams. Now, let's start off with Shakespeare's message. And remember, if in your essay you move away from describing what happens in the play, right, describing, oh, Macbeth is about blah, 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 which is what's going to keep you stuck in getting 2s, 3s and 4s, to literally talking about Shakespeare's message in connection to the question, you're now hitting 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, depending on how much depth you go into in your response. Now, firstly, divine right of kings is so powerful and you can use it in any essay, because remember that Shakespeare's core message within this entire play is how dangerous and destabilizing ambition is, as it will lead to regicide, and people who develop this violate divine right of kings, i.e. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, and this ultimately leads to chaos, okay? Remember, divine right and Shakespeare's message and ambition are literally inherently linked. They are entangled. You want to talk about that. Now, this context theme is also really important if you get, say, for example, a Macbeth question, a Lady Macbeth question, a Witches question, because if you get a Macbeth focus question or even an ambition question, to be honest, if you just get any kind of Macbeth question, right, because it's the titular character, you always want to talk about and tie this idea of divine right of kings to the idea that Macbeth's ambition was his hamartia, use that, grade 9 language, that led to his treasonous act of killing King Duncan, yet he afterwards, right, so after violating divine right of kings, he was plagued by this guilt and paranoia for violating this divine right of kings, okay? Now, when it comes to divine right of kings and how this context point manifests itself in Lady Macbeth, say for example you get a Lady Macbeth question, a women question, right? You want to talk about how Lady Macbeth, okay, and this is, I realized I made a small error. I put Lad Macbeth when it means it's supposed to be Lady Macbeth. Anyway, Lady Macbeth's lust for power caused her to be labeled the fourth witch by Jacobeans, okay, and she ultimately became insane as divine punishment for her role in goading and forcing and pressuring Macbeth into committing treason and violating divine right of kings. But also remember that divine right of kings is also tied to the witches. They're the ones who plant these seeds of ambition in Macbeth's mind. And when you're talking about them, you always want to mention how they are agents of chaos. They're the ones who actually instigate the violation of divine right of kings, as they planted ambition in Macbeth's mind and caused chaos in Scotland once he killed the king. And obviously when you're mentioning this, you want to even add another layer of context on top of divine right of kings, which is why I think it's such a perfect piece of context, because you can tie it into the political context in which Shakespeare wrote this, i.e. King James I of England and the VI of Scotland was a new and foreign monarch. Remember that he was from Scotland and he was seen as a foreign king in England. And Shakespeare staged this play in front of this new king and his audience and the court to warn other noblemen not to overthrow him and to violate divine right of kings. And of course, if you're looking at this and you're like, okay, this is great, it's so helpful to know this, but how does that look like in an actual essay? Just join my one-off Macbeth half-term GCSE class on the 17th of February at 5 to 6 p.m, where not only will I be writing a grade 9 model response for Macbeth, but also you will get a cheat sheet with not only this information, but also literally all the quotes to do with main characters, context and themes, so that you can put the play away at this stage, memorize that and spend 100% of your practice and exam prep time literally practicing past paper questions. So thanks so much for listening.